Have you ever struggled to get something that you really wanted? Not everything was as easy as we have it now. The people from history have impacted our lives more than we realize. After researching information about George Washington Carver, I can tell you that I learned about the struggles and impact he has had. George Washington Carver promoted interracial cooperation and conservation of nature's resources. Here is how it all began for George Washington Carver. According to George Washington Carver National Monument, a U.S. National Park Service, George's mother was bought at the age of 13 by a slave owner named Moses Carver. Later on, she had two sons named James and George. George was born in Diamond Grove, Missouri, into enslavement, just about the close of the Great Civil War. Here's an image of George Washington Carver. George and his mother were Ku Kluxed and put up for sale in Arkansas. While there, George almost died of the whooping cough. Moses Carver heard of them being sold in Arkansas, and he put up a horse valued at $300 to purchase back George and his mother. However, they could not find George's mother, so only George was bought back. George was taken care of by Moses and Susan Carver. The Carvers encouraged him to secure knowledge. He was not accepted into schools near him due to the segregation of these schools. He decided to move to Neosho, Missouri, to attend a black student school. His teacher, Stephen Frost, had only learned to read 6 years earlier, and he was also an African American. Andrew and Mariah Watkins gave him a home while he was there in Neosho. This was only the start of a long journey for knowledge. Because of the schools in Arkansas were better, he moved in with another family. He finished high school in Poverty Gulch, and he enrolled in Highland College, also in Kansas. The college refused him because of his color. He then later enrolled in Simpson College in Iowa. While here, a professor named Etta Budd encouraged him to get a degree in science. He later then enrolled in Iowa Agriculture College in Ames, where Etta's father actually taught horticulture. He was the first African American of this college, and because of this, he was denied housing and he had to eat in the basement with the staff. Because of his teacher, Lewis Pamel, he became interested in plants. This led to a scientific approach to agriculture. In 1896, George was the first African American to graduate and a faculty member of Iowa State. An offer of a lifetime came from Tuskegee Institute. Booker T. Washington asked him to be a faculty member here at Tuskegee Institute. George Carver and Booker T. Washington believed that there are many opportunities through education. The South did not have much for scientific farming. They had poor eroded soils, used outdated techniques, and simple tools. George's goal was to teach a more scientific approach using up-to-date methods and machinery. The poverty of Southern farmers kept them from using modern equipment. George wanted to approach this by using simpler means of conservation and crop rotation. Carver administered the agriculture department and daily operations at Tuskegee Institute. He wanted to do more teaching and experiments rather than administer the egg department and the daily operations. He created many pamphlets on edible plants that people thought were weeds. These pamphlets included how to use acorns and vines for animal consumption, how wild fruits could be used to can and preserve, and how to create fertilizers from waste. His main focus was on the sweet potato and the peanut, and how they had so much of a wide range of possibilities. He did experiments that led to byproducts beyond food. For example, products such as dyes, paints, industrial products, medicines, and even massage oil for polio victims. He received greater funding from the school and was able to purchase a wagon he used to travel to farms around the South to demonstrate new tools and techniques. Here is an image of that wagon that he had purchased. This became very popular, and it was nationally adopted by the U.S. Department of Agriculture as its own research outreach program. Carver then became a nationally recognized teacher and researcher. However, when he was asked to speak at conferences, he was still discriminated to use the staff doors and eat with the staff in the basements. George was later called to support a tariff on peanut growers from the South against foreign competition. While speaking to Congress about this, he opened the eyes of the Congress members, and he was later then recognized as the Peanut Man. He died on January 5th in 1943. Congress voted to honor his achievements by establishing the George Washington National Monument. It is the first national park to honor an African American. George became a powerful symbol of African American potential and achievement. George Washington Carver promoted interracial cooperation as well as conservation of nature's resources. Carver's upbringing, his strive for knowledge, and his development into the Peanut Man helped him become a symbol of agriculture and African American potential. Now you can say you know a little bit about George Washington Carver, the Peanut Man, and how he impacted history.